No, we're just allowing it for about 10 minutes so that people can know to go to the other channel in case they miss it. Make yourself useful and post the Vin and Story live link. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at instory@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Story. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Story and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed, a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
That's what happens when you rush. Yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener.
Hello, hello.
We are at the foothills of a Memorial Day stream. I mean,
Happy Memorial Day.
It's kind of a weird thing to say. Happy Memorial Day.
Yeah, it's a little dog. But we're Americans, so that's what we do.
Yeah.
4th of July is on its way. We celebrate a lot of this nonsense.
Please, yes. Okay. Now, I see that many of you are on the regular Vintage Story channel. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. We appreciate the support.
But
we need you to go over to rumble.com. Rumble.com is where we're going to be. So we're going to be up here for 3 minutes, and then we're going to be up on Rumble. It's going to be rumble.com, and then you just type in Vin and Story, because in the next 2 minutes, we're going to be gone. So we're going to be on the Rumble side, or we're going to be on the Vin and Story live side.
Right.
So we're going to be on Rumble, and we're going to be on Vin and Story Live. Later on this week, you will be able to see the individual videos from this live stream on the regular Vintage Story channel as standalone videos. So we're here to remember service people old and new from whatever country you hail from. Agree. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. So yes, that is happening very, very soon. We will be going to Rumble in about the next 60 seconds. So if you are on the regular Vintage Story channel, we need you to go to Rumble. You can go to Rumble, or you can go to Vintage Story Live.
Right.
Okay?
both options are there for you.
Both options are there for you.
I mean, X is also available if you want to be on X.
Larry Saint Amand is here. Good. Excellent. Directo Franco is here. Excellent.
Tonight's
yes, this is going to
DJ
be... We've got some... I mean, you guys saw the lineup. The lineup is crazy.
Tonight's DJ is DJ Ben.
Yes. Yes.
What does
DJ
this
Ben
mean?
indeed.
Wrench me on... What is it?
I got it. Don't worry about it. Okay, guys.
Oh, wrench me.
So all you beautiful people on regular Vintage Story, we love you very, very dearly. We will see you on the other side.
On the other side.
We'll see you on the other side. Preferably Rumble, to be honest with you guys. Preferably Rumble, but Vintage Story Live is good too. We will be there on Vintage Story Live. And we are gone. Here we go to Rumble. Rumble, Rumble, Rumble. Go.
All right, you guys. Here
We're
we
gonna
are.
give people some time to go to Rumble and Vintage Story
And then
Live.
we shall start. In the meantime, I'm going to drink some water.
Excellent. Excellent. In the meantime, she's going to drink water, and I'm going to put up the thumbnail-a-majiggy.
Man, okay.
Okay,
I
what?
think, well, we're a little bit far away from the desk.
Yeah, I mean...
Are you fine with that, or...?
I'm fine with it. I just want to make sure that we're in good shape for the homie. See what I'm saying? All right, guys. So I hope everybody has had significant time to think through the ramifications of Memorial Day for yourself. Obviously, I gotta.
It's crazy that, like, Memorial Day, for some people, is... There's pain, there's seriousness. Other people, it's, you know, food and gatherings and pools.
Yeah. And, you know, you can't really resent that. I know a lot of people, like, have a problem with that, but it's kind of like, that's the entire reason, you know, supposedly, that dudes sign up, is so that you can have a regular American experience. So it's tough for everybody, but that's kind of the job. That's kind of why people do what they do relative to the military.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of ways to lose somebody in the military, obviously. You know, my brother sent me a picture of my little brother from his graduation, Marine Corps. Rest in peace, my little bro. And it was a picture I'd never seen before. Anytime I run into a picture of my brother I've never seen before, obviously it's a pretty awesome thing. So that was pretty cool to see. Thank you very much for that, big bro. All right, guys. See a lot of you guys on Vintage Story Live. Let me jump on Vintage Story Live here real quick.
Yeah, guys,
Send
here
this
we go.
person $20.
I shall.
Let's jump on Vintage Story Live. Here we are. Wonderful. And now the mic is working excellently.
I have my phone with me right now.
Okay, so you guys ready to rock or what? You ready to rock? Hey, DJ AT in the house. What's
Hello.
up? What's up? Okay, guys, DJ AT's in the house. DJ Franco's in the house. Is there an intro?
And of course, our DJ Ben is in the house, so we can start.
Yes.
Let's see what he has to say. He says, Memorial Day metal stream. This is 2 songs. Well, you know what? Let's get the timestamp.
Yeah, isn't there there's no intro?
This is the email he sent. I don't have anything beyond
What
this.
about Trello?
No, I update Trello.
Okay, so Ben, there's no intro for. I just want to make sure, Ben, that there's no intro for this that we're missing. Is there anything you wanted to say before? Or we got SGS in the house. Holy schmoly! It's not every day you get SGS in the house.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're just waiting for the word from you, Ben, to know whether or not we are good.
Yeah, Ben, I just want to make absolutely sure if that's what we're if that's all you need us to say, then we'll be good. If there's something that we missed, we want to know if there's something that we missed
before we start.
There's no intro. The music itself will speak. Okay, I'm with that.
Okay.
I'm with that. Okay, so I'll go to Rumble and you go to VS Live, right? That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay. Yeah, hold on.
Blah, 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 blah,
La, 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 la. Okay. So you want me on Vintage Story Live, you're up on Rumble.
Yeah.
And then we can get this party started. Whoops. YouTube Studio. There we go.
All right. So we got both connected. Excellent. All right. Well, let's do it. Let's go into the first song. The first song is actually 2 songs, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah. Okay. So what we have first is right here, DJ Ben. We have Memoriam, and the name of the songs is Memoriam and War Rages On. He says, don't forget to hold the timestamp for me. You know what? Maybe when I start reading, you send me a text that has the timestamp.
Let's just do 15 minutes on the timestamp.
Okay. All right. So he says, this is 2 songs, but I want them to be played together and reviewed together. Link is from full unofficial album stream. Please refer to the start and end stamped after the link. Right here. So we're going from 00 to 6:59. Okay?
Yeah, so it's the first 2 songs.
Yep.
What's the cutoff for song 1? Do you know?
No, but he wants them played back to back and then reviewed together. There's
Okay.
no stops.
Okay. Fun fact. This first band is actually made up of ex-members of Bolt Thrower, who we will be listening to tonight.
True.
And Benediction, who we have listened to before.
Can we just pull the thing forward? I'm sorry, because my cord is too short.
Okay.
I appreciate you moving your feet. I always seem to crash them. All right.
You ready?
Yep. Yes, now I can reach my headphones, which are important, if you're going to be listening to music.
I
You
guess
don't
so.
do it telepathically.
I guess so.
All right,
I guess
so let's,
We could have done that instead of get tea, but hey.
But no, I need my tea.
Who's counting?
I need my tea.
Actually, you didn't.
But I do.
All right, guys, here we go.
Memoriam and Memoriam rages on.
All right, guys, here we go. Song numero 1 and numero 2. Let's go.
a state of war would exist between us. I have to tell you now that no such undertaking has been received, and that consequently this country is at war. War.
Yo, Ben, who you speaking? Who is this?
Memoriam.
And so it came to pass, time rolls by, once more into battle, no questions why. The fire stands, life comes to an end. The last bastion, war rages on. You never thought that it would end in defeat, arising from the wreckage. The victory complete. Complete. And now you stand, last remnants of man. It cannot be undone. War rages on. So now we rise again, prepared to try another nameless victim. The enemy tonight. Tonight. Rages.
On! Say on, damn it! I like the completion! War rages on!
Well, there was Memoriam first, and then War Rages On by the band Memoriam. Okay.
Memoria was this the first song
Yes.
on
Look, right here.
on their first ever record?
Oh,
is
I
what
don't
I'm
know.
asking.
I doubt it.
Because the
this
name of the band is
2017, right?
Memoriam.
Yeah.
And the name of the song is Memoriam, the first song. So I
Yeah.
was wondering if it was like, this is the intro. This is the intro to the band. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I
And the
know
intro
what you're
to the
saying.
record.
I can't pretend to know, and I'm not AI. So.
I wasn't asking you, madame. I was asking Ben. Thank you.
Ben, come through.
Come through and answer our question.
Okay,
Ben.
all
Can
right.
you white screen that screen there.
White screen, what
things right
screen? Okay, where? Ooh, okay. Yeah.
I'll do it. It's too much of a case. Go ahead.
You know what? 100%. I really appreciate that because I feel like you know me.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely know you. I'm
Okay.
asking too much.
Yep, it's just too much to tell the Okay, so the first song was Memoriam, obviously. And this is how constantly we think of you with hearts and eyes that fill. The love and life we had for you in death grow stronger still. Let the winds of time blow softly, bells toll for all to hear. Gone but not forgotten throughout the passing years. That's
Memorial Day, man.
Yeah.
That's what the entire thing is about.
Yeah, it was like heavy, like sad, you know what I mean? But I only had so my grandmother, I remember her showing me letters that her brother had written to her. And I did not I don't know why I've been
That hurt me?
Yeah, I've been so all of my life sort of disconnected from those sorts of situations when people would talk about them. I don't know, I couldn't really relate to it.
Did he serve in a war?
He did, yeah, Vietnam.
Oh shit.
And he didn't make it back. So it was
He died?
Yeah.
Hey, that hurt means brothers died in Vietnam?
I think it was her brother, but now I'm getting confused now that you're asking me these questions. I know that she used to sit me. I thought she said it was her brother, and she was reading to me some of the letters, but I was so disinterested. I felt like it was just you're putting me through school. Literally, that's what I felt like because I hated school and being I didn't like it. I was oh, but it didn't make any sense to me. I was too young, I think, to really relate with it. But so when I hear this, I remember I'm like, man, she must have been really hurting, and so she wanted to talk about it, and I just wanted to eat my fudge and go outside and play, man.
Well, I mean, you were a kid.
Yeah, yeah.
It's almost a good thing that you
couldn't relate, really,
didn't really understand what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Because it's very crazy to me how ubiquitous war is to the human experience. It's so crazy to me that there are literally hundreds and thousands of songs of war, warfare, losing someone in war.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's songs like this, we constantly think of you. Now, they lost, I think the band name in the song was originally In Memoriam to Bolt Thrower's drummer Martin Kearns.
Oh.
So this isn't necessarily
Their first album.
Well, I don't know whether it's a first album or not, but they're not writing this song about losing someone in a war per se. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Unless the dude died in a war, which I think is highly unlikely. But the name of the entire record is For the Fallen, right?
Yeah.
So, that's the way that dudes are dealing. Obviously, if you're a musician, one of your guys dies, you're going to make music about it. But the fact that it's so easy to bleed between losing someone in war and losing someone in whatever way is pretty crazy. He talks about the ubiquity of war. But
I mean, even they're musicians. And so it's crazy because you look at a musician, and if you want to be where they are, then when you're so jealous of somebody, you cannot see what the person's actually experiencing.
Right.
So you're only seeing the lights, the cheering, the action, people buying tickets. You don't know the struggle. You don't know what it's like. And I'm sure that there's a battlefield feel to it. You remember that guy that he was actually basically bleeding heart and soul for these certain people. But there was another person that was so jealous of his position, he could not see that this person was bleeding out so much. Metaphorically speaking.
Yeah.
And so he was so jealous of the person, he didn't know. And it sort of does remind you of that. You remember that whole story of the guys in the hospital looking out the window, the one that's by the window. You remember how the whole thing goes? But there's this sort of, when you don't know what somebody else is going through, it's easy to look at them and be like, I wish I had that. I'm so jealous of that, whatever. But
like these, I mean, they're using this war language to describe, you know, a fallen brother, and there's got to be some relevance to that, or I guess some understanding, or like some.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, Ben says it is their first album, but with the war rages on, it fits this theme, and in the live music, the video depicts war.
Okay. Well, yeah.
For
like
Memoriam, does Memoriam depict war? Is that's a pretty cool? That's a pretty badass.
Once you zoom in on it,
you know, carrying his coffin there.
Yeah. We're talking about the album cover. We just, you know, caught a peep of that.
Yeah. So, and then it bleeds directly into War Rages On.
Yeah.
And I think they were quoting. Damn, we were just talking about him in the. Hunter was like, "Isn't the guy a racist?"
Oh no! Oh no!
No, I'm sure he was, but he's like, "I'm serious. I thought it." Winston Churchill. And Winston Churchill is pretty much credited with guiding the good guys through World War II and ensuring that the good guys won and the Nazis did win. And, you know, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. I think he was a prime minister of England.
That's what I thought.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself, and he would get on these fireside chats and talk to the people. Like, some people were getting bombed, like, you know, bombs were coming down, and he was, like, talking to them, and, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was real...
What do you mean fireside chats?
He'd get on the radio, you know, as the leader of the country, and then talk to all the people. Yeah, that's pretty much... That idea is where I got the term fireside from. You know, you just sit there and talk to everybody and all that. Yeah. It's
Did he call it that?
I don't know what he called it.
Interesting.
But
okay.
But yeah, like, I'm pretty sure that was a Winston Churchill quote. You also asked who was the audio clip at the beginning. Yeah, it was from one of Winston Churchill's many famous... Yeah, he had a lot of them. To me, I don't really care if he was a white supremacist or not, because Hitler, you know, their goal, the coalition that Hitler had, I'm not going to say he's the worst person in the world, but he definitely did not have good designs for the world.
Right.
And so every person who would have stood up to Hitler would have had some sort of flaw. So whether or not he was a racist or whatever, I don't care. Like, it's war. You know, we're talking about killing people in bunches. So, you know, there's really, at the end of the day, no good people in war. Like, that's just, you know, so it was always kind of like made me chuckle when I like, not laughing at you, Hunter, but it always made me chuckle when people would start trying to moralize these you know, heroes of certain countries, when it's like, these people are warriors, or they're sending people off to war. These people are sending teenage sons to die. Like, I was listening to Hardcore History one time, and they were talking about how all these friends in this particular neighborhood decided it would be a good idea to go on an adventure together. And it's like, it was like 200 of them or something like that.
Yeah.
And like 5 of them came back. You know what I'm saying? So this entire neighborhood is bereft of all these kids.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was horrible. It was a horrible situation.
Yeah.
Like, it was a very difficult thing to, you know what I'm saying? So to me, it's like, that's the dude that sent them kids off to die like that. And it's like, well, it's like, no, like, he sent them off to die, and he knew the vast majority of those kids that he sent off to war were gonna die. Period. End of story. So, like, to me, there's just no good people in a war. And yeah, you could say, like, these guys pushed the issue and there had to be a response, and I agree. And, like, but at the end of the day, you're not a good person if you sign off on sending all these children to go die off in a war. And, you know, Jesus talked about people bearing greater sins than other people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So in Jesus's economy, if you create the conditions such that sin is almost inevitable on the other side, he still counts that as sin, but he will blame you for that. Mm-hmm. And we saw that with the forces of woman to commit adultery, etc. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a crazy joke, Amy. Holy shit. Okay, so it came to pass as time rolls by, once more into battle, nobody questions why. The final stand, life comes to an end. The last bastion is war rages on. You know, this song was crazy because I just got done watching a documentary on the Battle of Wanat.
Wait, was that what was playing? No, that wasn't. That was something
Yesterday,
else.
last night.
Oh, okay.
It was the Battle of Wanat. And in the Battle of Wanat, these guys were basically 11 days out from finishing their deployment. And they get sent to Wanat, which is this horrible area in Afghanistan, which is like, you're guaranteed you're going to end up in a firefight. And all these dudes, like, it's pretty eerie because all the dudes that died in that battle are on camera, and they're all saying we're all going to die. And they were all like, this is some bullshit that they sent us out here because everybody knows what it is. And it's like, why would you do that when we're like, you know, yeah, it's like, why would you do this? Like, why would you send us out here? And it's
why did they send them?
It's just the military, man. It's the bureaucracy, just like anything else. It's like this place had to be softened up before the group that was coming was going to take over. And instead of sending an auxiliary unit or something like that, it was just, oh, these people are on the file. Okay, let's send them. It's like there's one guy died the day before he was supposed to go home to his pregnant fiance.
Oh.
Matter of fact, he was the first guy that died. So it's like time rolls by, once more to battle, nobody questions why. And then their officer, I mean, rest in peace to him. I mean, he gave his life for his boys, but he set up in a low position in the valley instead of taking the high ground, which he could have. He could have taken the high ground, but he decided
wanted to send his guys
he decided,
there instead.
he posted up in the lower area.
Jeez.
So, you know, it was kind of like a, you know, obviously it's easy to Monday morning quarterback, but that seems pretty basic, right? Like you want to take the high ground and shit. So these guys were basically in what they call the fishbowl, and bad guys were just, you know, raining hell down on them, RPGs, all types of shit.
Jeez.
And so there was a Medal of Honor recipient because he's the only one that survived. I mean, I'm not judging the guy, but it didn't seem to me that he did anything particularly heroic. But sometimes the military will do that. Like when they screw up, they'll hey, Medal of Honor, or they'll make a movie out of it to try to make it glorious, because you don't want to be the dick to go and continue to do an investigation in something where all these dudes died and then somebody got awarded a Medal of Honor. Like, you're not patriotic. So it's one of the real horrible things that our government does to people. But yeah, I was just thinking about that. Like horrible. The final stand live comes. It was just, it's like a, I don't know if it's synchronicity, because I knew that it was going to be a Memorial Day stream. I mean, Memorial Day was the reason I was watching all that shit.
Right, yeah.
It was just crazy how much that this song fit with what I was watching, where they were talking about, like, we're going to our last battle, nobody questions why. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I've never been in a situation where I was certain I was going to die. I've never been in that situation. Like, I've been in a situation where things got bad and I'm like, it's over with. But I never been in a situation like where, like, beforehand everybody's like, we're gonna die. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and dudes usually don't say that shit because they're usually superstitious
sort of,
and, you know, things like that, where it's, you know, you don't, you know?
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah.
That's just horrible. I mean, like...
The fireside chats were actually delivered by Franklin D. Roosevelt. He began the series of radio addresses in 1933, shortly after his inauguration, and continued them throughout his presidency. So I don't know what Winston Churchill called his radio addresses to his folks, but they were pretty inspiring. And I was watching this thing on Piers Morgan, and they had this, you know, shout out to millennials. I don't mean any disrespect to millennials. I think they're great. But they had this millennial kid up there, and the kid was saying that there should not be a statue, because they got a statue somewhere of Winston Churchill. There should be a statue of Winston Churchill because he was a racist. I was like, what are we doing here? Like, the guy guided everybody through World War II. Like,
yeah,
that's insane to me.
I think there's, like, one, if what was that general's name that was like, he was literally fighting in the South to keep
General Lee.
Right. I don't think you should have up a thing because what he was doing was to keep people enslaved.
No, I agree.
So I don't think that we should put him up on a pedestal.
I agree.
But if Churchill was, everybody
But he was
is going to
fighting
have
Churchill was fighting Nazis.
Yeah, every single person is going to have something. So if you focus on like their issue, like if that's the main reason you're putting them up there, you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't
agree 100%. 100%.
But it's crazy, like from when you look at it from like God's perspective toward his people and like what that must be. I mean, to see everything and just to see the destruction that we do and like the fighting and what we fight over, and it's really not, when you start like digging down into it, it's really not any different than what you see with your own kids. Like when they're playing, let's say they're playing perfectly fine, and then I bring out a pile of those goldfish crackers, and then I say, hey, share these with each other, and then all of a sudden a fight breaks out because something about you didn't have those 5 minutes ago and you guys were happy.
Right.
But when I gave you something more, you couldn't figure out how to love each other while enjoying it. And I think that that's like the main thing. Like, how can we enjoy the world and love each other without just having to snatch resources and slice everybody's throat to get those resources? And some of those resources, it's not like it's life or death for us in America. It's like, well, we need more, and so we'll do all kinds of stuff just to get oil or to whatever. It's like, I don't know, we have got to learn the lesson that there is no amount of money, there is nothing on this planet that is more important than the people on this planet.
Yeah and
but until we get there, well, we're going to still keep creating an environment where they can massacre our babies.
America's doctrine, no matter what kind of organization within the machine you're in, America's doctrine is the world is a lot safer when there's a singular superpower. And it is in the world's best interest that it just so happens that America remain that superpower. And so that's the doctrine. And you'll literally hear people say like, hey, there's never been a world war since we think about it. Think about the gap between World War I and World War II, and then the gap between all the other. So it's like, hey,
we've killed a bunch of people.
Yeah, but it can't be compared to the carnage of World War II. I mean,
yeah, but I'm talking about when we're killing people, and the killing of the people doesn't like obviously if you have
I'm
one guy.
I'm not saying it justifies it. I'm just saying.
If you have one guy and he's holding 15 people hostage, and those 15 people are going to die if you don't take that one guy out, take the one guy out. Because the one saves the 15. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think that some of the times what we're doing with war, what these people didn't get, like you were telling me, I mean, I didn't read it directly, but I mean, these are pine nut farmers that just, people on their wedding days and
no, I'm saying those are horrible. I'm just saying, like, that's the doctrine. I'm going to judge both of these songs together. This one was a solid 9.2 for me. Solid way to start out the record. The first song was kind of riding that same riff, but it's only like 2 minutes 20 seconds long, something like that. And then the second song was obviously variegated with some pretty unique progressions there and decisions. I always wish I could talk to these bands and be like, how did you come up with that idea?
Yeah, I bet you do, because I was watching some art stuff, and if I'm watching cooking stuff, and I'll be like, why are they doing that? Because I know like what I'm doing with it. So I'm like, I thought of you with the guitar, and I'm like, I bet you that happens a lot when you listen to music where you're like, I wonder why they made those decisions.
Yeah, I really do.
Decisions are inspired by stuff, so you just come out of nowhere. Is it something that you felt like you were inspired? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I could see that. If I knew how to play the guitar to that degree, I'd probably have those same questions.
I think maybe you want to rewind it. We're not going to rewind the entire song for you. Nope, we're going on to the next song, actually, Dwayne. Thank you very kindly.
What a maniac, Dwayne. Oh, man, all this acting is going to your head.
No, I didn't think it was cavemen. I didn't think it was Caveman Riff, but it was a little bit repetitive.
Oh, I don't think I rated it.
You didn't rate it.
I
You didn't.
smiled
What's
when
wrong
you
with
rated it because I was going for a 9.2 as well.
Oh, you didn't rate it?
No.
Oh, I had it in my
thought
head
I
that you
did.
rated it the same way I rated it, but you
Yeah,
ended up doing it. Hey, excellent. You have wonderful taste in music.
Oh, well, yes, I know. He doesn't really think that. Dream Theater, Broken Man.
Okay, so there
What?
is no intro to these. Is that
No.
what you're saying? Okay. That's right. He said the music's going to speak for itself. Okay, we're going to go with 45 for the timestamp.
Yep, Dream Theater, Broken Man. Let's check it out.
Broken Man by the band Dream Theater.
For the big homie DJ Ben on this here Memorial Day 2025.
Shout out to everybody in America and across the world. Literally, man. UK, Australia, Africa, Germany, Austria, whatever. I'm sure we'll be able to talk about that pretty soon here. All right, guys, let's go.
Let's not waste any more time. Let the music speak.
Holy shit, Dream Theater's heavy. Finally, yes, Dream Theater. Finally, Dream Theater's heavy. Who knew Dream Theater could be heavy? as with all Dream Theater songs, we're gonna start negative. And as with all Dream Theater songs, that song could have been 2 minutes shorter, but I don't care because Dream Theater does generally. It's almost like Dream Theater is like, we're too intelligent of a metal band to play metal, so yeah. But like they came. I love that shit. Finally, I'm like, fine. Why don't you do more? Why don't you do more?
Oh man! Finally, you're you seem pleased with them.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a very sophisticated metalhead. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like if I say, I don't think that we needed to have this here, Dream Theater, whatever. Like obviously they're not gonna listen to me. What do I know about it? Those guys went to Juilliard, Yale, whatever. I don't care. But like, what the thing is, like, when I'm listening, when I'm in like, we're gonna listen to Chopin or we're gonna listen to Beethoven. It's like, okay, like I know what I'm.
Yeah.
Imagine you're thinking you're gonna listen to Beethoven, and then the thing starts, and all you hear is. Exactly. That's what happens to me most of the time when I listen to Dream Theater or OTEP or whatever, or any of these progressive bands. It's like, okay, we're going to get some metal.
Oh,
you're going to get that energy out. That's kind of the expectation. It's like you're like, oh, boom, I'm about to hit this Sprite. And then it's water. And it's like that that ever happen to you? You think you're getting a Sprite and you drink it?
Well, you know what's funny? The opposite happens for me. If I'm expecting my water and it's actually your Sprite, ugh. So it's weird because we're both having the same experience, but we're both grossed out.
Yeah, but a lot of it is expectation. And like every single time, Dream Theater does this to me. Every single time, except for this time.
Okay.
I heard a metal band. I heard a metal band this time.
Okay.
Hey, listen, if you've had the fortune of listening to Dream Theater for years, you know that these kinds of songs are few and far between.
I mean, I actually liked the beginning of the song, the way that it was opening up before the lyrics start.
Some aggression, damn it. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Before the lyrics started, I liked the way that it sounded. I just closed my eyes because I was like, just letting the music create something. Because usually, especially if it's a Dream Theater song, I don't feel like that I'm in the music and experiencing it. I feel like I'm like, there are some songs where I feel like I'm being forced to experience a song and I cannot experience it. It's a weird thing. I can't enter in and I don't like the sound of it, whatever. You guys have seen my negative reactions when it's like that. But this one, the way that it opened up sonically, I kept picturing, I actually didn't know what the song is going to be about. But I kept picturing like this building globe thing, and it was like really cool colors, like they were dark and bluish, and it kept like building up this beautiful something, and then every time it would go, that music would come in, it would shake the platform, and then it would start to come back down again, and then it would start building up again, and then it would shake the platform again. So I kept seeing this over and over, and I was like standing in the middle, just like watching what the band was creating. And then when we saw the song and the lyrics, I thought it was kind of interesting because
kind of have like I was saying, it did kind of have a Tool-y feel to it. So at some of the parts, somebody said Rush, but it did have a Tool-y type feel to it. But go ahead. I genuinely I very much like that middle part where there was some drum bass interaction, and it was kind of. And then it goes to that bang, and it opens up like that. That I like, and they did that, and it was very Tool-like to me. We haven't listened to Tool in a hot minute, damn it.
I know.
So that was my favorite part of the song. Even though I'm not like a gigantic Tool fan either, but I very much like that part because I miss that technique because not a lot of bands do that. And the bands that do it, a lot of them really can't pull it off. But I will say this about Dream Theater. They definitely were able to pull it off for sure.
So yeah, I mean, so I liked that sort of like visual thing that it was creating. And then lyrically, when we started listening to the song, it sounded like, if I understood it correctly, it kind of sounds like somebody that's come back from war, but they're I mean, a broken man. I mean, that's the name of the song. And it's crazy because I never really like looked into the effects of what war does to people or how it really, anytime that I knew anybody that was from the military or had any sort of like background in that, there was always the sort of like tough guy exterior. And so I actually thought that it really didn't affect men to be around that sort of stuff, and that it was that it's it's just something that you do, and for women it would be difficult, for us, but for men they can do that no problem and it doesn't really affect you. And then we listened to that song years ago. Which one was the one that was it was one of our big ones, 5 Finger Death Punch.
Yeah, it was one of our biggest songs.
Yeah.
I forgot which one it was, but I know which one. I know.
Yeah, so then you start like hearing these stories, and you listen to a lot of like podcasts and stuff, and sometimes you go through phases where you're listening to stuff about like men that have returned from war and what the effects are and how that affected them, how it affected their families, and then I started realizing that like, oh, turns out men are human too. We're all the same. Like you can't, you're around traumatizing things and it will traumatize you, it will change you, it will, and part of, I think, the tough guy exterior that I was seeing was their way of dealing with what they had been through. So hearing this song, like, then the beginning, what I visually was seeing, like, in my mind when the song was playing, sort of made sense, because it was like, okay, you're building up something, because like when people, I think, join the military, like I was listening to those guys today, and he was saying like, so when did you have your moment where you realized that you were not going to live forever, like that you were not invincible and that you would die or you could die? Was it because you saw somebody else get hit, or like when was that moment for you? And then watching him like not answer that question, or at least I didn't feel he answered the question. But like that, I don't know, just like hearing that, talking to a vet one time and finding out that when they returned, like after being traumatized, they said that there was like a 6-hour course or something like that for them to get them okay again. And I thought that was insane. And I didn't know that I thought that our vets were very well taken care of. I didn't know the way that things go. So yeah, when you hear this song and like you see, stories, or you hear stories of them returning back to their families, and like he's saying, dead inside, though I've tried, I know I'm a broken man, and he's completely changed and he's a different person, and like the family probably sacrifices a bunch while he's gone, and they maybe don't calculate how different he's going to be when he returns, and so they're expecting a certain thing, but he's broken and he needs support. And it's just it's a terrible thing. It was 6 hours, right? Isn't that what they said?
Yeah, it was
it was something really insane. It wasn't even like,
but I mean, there's stuff open for guys, man. I mean, it's difficult to navigate for sure, but I don't know. That's something I always wonder about with my brother. Like, part of me feels like it would have been better if he was deployed. Like, we talk about him like contracting for a little bit. Like, he loved the structure of the Marine Corps, but I think he got assigned to be an MP at Lejeune, and I think that was I think the deaths that he had to see there really fucked him up, because again, it's that whole expectation thing. Like, if you are like, if you get deployed, or if you're part of some whatever, like, okay, we're going in here, people are gonna die, you're gonna see people die, you might die, you're gonna see death, that type of thing. I remember when he got his orders, he's like, yeah, man, I'm just gonna be breaking up a lot of domestics, man. Like, and like, he was joking around with me and shit. Like, I remember like when he graduated from Lejeune, which was like one of the proudest days of my life. and you know they're kind of robotic, you know, like they're not very, you know, because they've been I mean literally it's brainwashing, you know, and for an expeditionary unit you kind of have to do that, but he came back to normal, and he got his orders. He's like, yeah man, I'm going to Lejeune. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna be breaking up domestics all day, man. And like, I remember we were just joking around about that. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, but like all the rest of his buddies, you know, they got to play. I mean, by that time, you know, GWAT was pretty much over for the Marines. And but you know, I think one of the dudes from his class got killed or whatever. But he was still his jokey self, you know. And then that first time he called me up, one of these dudes from MARSOC or Special Forces, whatever, came back from deployment and was running around on base with a weapon. And my brother's like, this dude's like a special operator running around on base. And it's like, here's my, you know, 22-year-old brother having to chase this dude around who's you know, I mean, you gotta at least be, you know, E4, I think, to be MARSOC or whatever, and I'm literally on the phone with my brother when this is happening. And he's like, yo, hold on, I'll call you back. And they found the guy, and I didn't know this until later, but they jumped out. Jamie jumped out of his car. His buddy jumped out the other car to take him down or whatever. And the guy beat the hell out of the other dude, and then shot himself right in front of my brother. Like, blew himself away like right in front of my brother. And I didn't know what was going on. All I knew was that there was this very capable individual running around base with a weapon, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, man, I hope he doesn't hesitate. If he sees that guy, just fucking take him out, man. But he called me back. He's like, yo, bro just shot himself right in front of me, dude. And he was like shell shocked. And he was like, he kept saying like, I'm traumatized, which is weird because like our family we grew up seeing like a whole bunch of crazy shit.
Did he though?
Oh yeah, he saw it. No, he saw it. I mean, he was there when I found the gun that first time. Like me and him were literally playing down there. And yeah, man. So we'd never ever say something like that. We had a parent like literally attempt suicide, get wheeled out by the ambulance or whatever. We didn't know if they were gonna make it or not, and we sat down and watched the Super Bowl, ate pizza, and I went to school the next day. Like we never talked about it. We never had that discussion. You know, so like for him to say, it's some of the shit that I think about. Like, I mean, he said he was traumatized. He literally said like, I'm traumatized. You know, I don't know. He's like, this dude just shot himself right in front of me or whatever. And I got sent to Houston. I did a year in Houston, and I remember he used to call me at like 3 or 4 in the morning. He called me one time at 3 in the morning. I'm like, yo, what you on, man? He's like, yeah, so I'm like, what's up? I'm like, yo, you calling me mad late, bro? What's up? He's like, oh, yeah, that's right, it is late. And he hung up the phone. And then, like, he called me later on. I'm like, what happened? And he's like, yeah, this kid, you know, wrapped his car around a tree. And Jamie was the first responder. And he's like, yeah, he was gone, He was gone. And the guy's family ran up to my brother and said, oh, it's good you're here. You can help, so-and-so. And that really, like, after those 2 incidents, they happened probably a year apart. Among other things that he saw, like, he just wasn't prepared for that. And then our mom died, and he did not expect our mom to die. And it was just too much for him. He was never the same after that. Like, never. So, yeah, like, I don't know. There's a lot of dudes where You know, they just can't get over that shit. You know, that's just. He was always the baby. You know, I'm like. Maybe if he got deployed and he knew that shit was supposed to happen to be different, maybe he'd feel better about getting help. Maybe, you know, maybe he didn't want to get help, or maybe he didn't take it as serious because he didn't get deployed. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe, you know. But he made his own choices. But anyway, he's not here anymore. It is what it is. But, yeah, rest in peace to the homie. It's just, I think it's probably tough for families where if your son dies on the battlefield, there's one sort of social sort of, you know, versus dudes that make it home but don't really make it home and ended up fading away, you know, anonymously almost. You know, where like there isn't that social sort of collective like, hey, you know, your son paid the ultimate price type of thing. But but at the same time, like I said, like he made his own decisions. It is what it is. Okay. For a Dream Theater song, they did good. There was a bunch of the little doodly nonsense, but I do think, I mean, he talked about hearts and minds, which was a very familiar term during the GWAT. So, you know, there were some allusions to that, if not the song not being exactly about that. So, I'm going to give this one a 9.4. 9.4.
Wow, that's really hot.
I think it's probably the highest Dream Theater score I've ever given. Ever.
7.2 for me. Dwayne gives it a 5.
Dwayne gave it a 5. Oh, Dwayne, it was heavy. Yeah, it was a tough crowd on Dream Theater, man. It was a tough crowd.
Yeah, it was. I know.
people were going crazy.
Oh, no.
People were going crazy on poor Dream Theater.
Yeah, poor Ben. He started justifying his pick.
Ben is also a broken man.
That's literally what I was thinking. I was looking at the title thinking the same thing, and I was like arguing with myself whether or not I should say it.
I appreciated the attempt from the band. Hunter gave it a 0. Allahu Akbar.
All right.
All right, guys. Let's
wait.
We're gonna have to pull up the official too.
Oh. Okay.
Taffer says, y'all loved At Wit's End when you did it for me, and that was a Dream Theater song. Lies. I probably said I liked it because it was you, Taffer. I don't really do that, but I'll have to see video evidence that I said I liked that song, Taffer. Oh, hey, my man Joe Biden's in the house. Joe, you have no idea, bro. I'm extremely happy to see you, man. Shout out to the big homie Joe Biden. Middle finger to everybody making fun of Joe Biden for having cancer, man. What the fuck is wrong with the world, man? Like, he was our president regardless. And he's a human being, but whatever. Mike Robertson says, you should review Nocturnal Mortem Ukraine. Is the name of the band Ukraine? Or is the subject matter Ukraine in that song? Let me know. Let me know. I like the song because it was heavy, and it gives me hope that Dream Theater can actually do heavy music. That they can actually be a heavy band and not lie to their audience. They should call themselves like a 4-piece orchestra or something like that. I mean, you can set proper expectations for people. Taffer says go back and watch. I'm actually going to go back and watch it. I'm going to need video evidence for that, I don't know about me enjoying a Dream Theater song. That's like me enjoying an OTEP song or any of these horrible, pretentious little progressive bands. Hey, I went to Juilliard. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
That's Vin's opinion.
That's literally what the show is all about. It's literally our opinions. I don't know what to tell you. There's somebody's like, that's your opinion. I had a problem with it. That's your. It's like, yes, it's my opinion. Yes.
That's what we do.
It's what we do.
Okay. So, as we said before, this is a Memorial Day stream for... Ew.
For you.
Well, what happened was I was starting the official video, and
Racist.
you know, a commercial comes up before the video
Racist.
does, and it was a Terminex, and I don't like bunches of bugs. It's gross.
That's true. You do be freaking out over
Ugh. I don't like them when they're all.
You're
There's too many of
definitely
them.
a girl for sure.
Too many of them.
For sure.
And you're definitely a man. This works out. Okay, Metallica Confusion is the name of the song. We're gonna start them at the same time so we can sync up nicely. Says Ben, and I'll take
Tina
the time
Bennett's
stamp.
in the house.
Hi Tina, I saw a message from you came in.